This is Aqsa Parvez. Her father told authorities that he strangled her, allegedly, because she wouldn't wear a headscarf. Now, the family lives in Canada, and this horrifying so-called honor killing is now sparking calls for women's rights in Muslim communities. Ahmed Rehab is a spokesperson for the Council on American Islamic Relations, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So this is so disturbing. Obviously, the term honor killing is an oxymoron. There can be no such thing. Is there any dispute about that within the Muslim community?
That term is not a Muslim term, and it's not recognized in the Muslim community. It is not a good thing to do. Let me tell you that I agree with you. It's a tragedy, and so our hearts go out to the family, and our prayers go out to the family. Having said that, this man's acts are indefensible. And we, as CAIR, have put together a coalition of 20 Muslim organizations of the highest caliber all over Canada and North America that condemned this act and that called in very strong terms for the strongest possible prosecution of this man and for a policy of zero tolerance within our community and every community against domestic abuse and abuse against women.
But is it not? I mean, is it not true there have been a string of these murders, so-called honor killings, by fathers against daughters who would not comply with, who would not wear the hijab, who wanted to wear Western clothing and look more Western, and it's happened repeatedly. So there's obviously some faction within Islam that believes that this is not only okay to do, but required, some would argue, by the Quran. I know that the mainstream Muslims don't believe that, but there is some faction that does.
I wouldn't call it a faction. There are sporadic cases, isolated cases, but let's be very clear here. One case is one case too many. And so it is a problem, but it is not of the sort that you can call a faction or a subsector of the community that believes in this.
Well, how do you get to those? How do you get to those who actually believe this? I mean, there's this guy. There was one back in 2005. A father stabbed his 17-year-old daughter in British Columbia. There's one in 2002. A father attacked his daughter who had a boyfriend in her bedroom, and so on. I mean, down the list. You guys should check out Michelle Malkin's blog if you want to have more examples. But how do we put a stop to that?
The same way you try to put a stop to situations where mothers in the dominant culture may sometimes, kill their children to appease their boyfriends. We've heard of cases like this in the news before. They're sporadic, they're obscene, they don't represent the communities from which they come, and we have to deal with them, as sporadic as they are. But it would be a mistake for us to call it some sort of a trend within a community.
No, certainly not. And no one's condemning all Muslims for this. Yeah. It just happens to be this. There are some who are Muslim, who follow Islam, who believe that this is mandated by the Quran, that they have some weird reading of the Quran that leads them to believe this is mandated. And it's clearly not.
Weird, yeah. It's not at all, and it's very disturbing for me to hear this, because this flies in the face of everything that our faith stands for, including the freedom of choice for a woman to wear a hijab, a headscarf, or not, and including respect for the sanctity of life, which in this case was obviously obliterated. So it's a very disturbing case, and we call for the fullest prosecution of this man under the law in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, he really does need to be condemned by those within his own circles and others like him, so that they don't view this as some sort of a badge of honor, just the strangulation of his own daughter because she wouldn't wear the headscarf. So sad. Ahmed Rehab, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Yeah. I just wanted to say that this is an opportunity for us to reflect on this terrible thing that's called domestic abuse or abuse against women, and for all of us to take this as an opportunity to raise awareness of this disease in our societies that cuts across all sectors and all creeds and all communities.
Yeah, there's a different element here, though. It's not just regular domestic abuse. There is some sort of religious fanaticism that is leading to these incidents.
There's always something particular to every case.
Well, in this case, that's what it is, and a serious look needs to be taken at it. Ahmed, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
All right,